inch closer to the April 2nd deadline. Tariff headlines continue to mount. US President Donald Trump said that he will be imposing a 25% tariff on countries that buy oil and gas from Venezuela, like I mentioned earlier, amid efforts to increase pressure on President Nicolas Maduro and China. You do have Trump making that announcement in a post on social media platform Truth Social. Now, to put this announcement into perspective, Venezuela exported about 660,000 barrels per day in 2024. China, in fact, was the largest destination for the South American nation's crude exports, purchasing 270,000 barrels per day last year. Now, US was in fact the second largest destination for Venezuelan crude last year, importing about 233,000 barrels per day. So those are the numbers to put all of this into perspective. Additionally, you do have the Treasury Department that has also extended Chevron's license when it comes to producing oil in Venezuela until May 27th.
That is correct. Lots of announcements coming from Trump. In fact, the US president also signaled that he may provide exemptions for certain countries when his administration imposes reciprocal tariffs on imports next week. Trump has for weeks indicated that he would impose reciprocal tariffs beginning April 2nd on any nation that has duties on American goods. But as the date has approached, some administration officials have suggested that there could be some room for adjustment. Additionally, Trump has also signaled additional tariffs on specific goods could be coming as early as this week. He cited automobiles, lumber and semiconductors as areas that could be targeted.
Absolutely, that's the update as far as tariffs are concerned. Now, April 2nd is the date that we're marking on our calendars, but onto some stock-specific action. Then Tesla staged a rather strong comeback as shares were seen headed for their best day this year after falling for 9 consecutive weeks. In fact, shares closed Monday's session higher by nearly 12%. The stock, in fact, notched its best day coming in since November 6, 2024. That's the day following President Donald Trump's victory in the election as well, making it the best performing stock in the S&P 500 for the day. Important to note, though, that the shares are still trading more than 44% below their all-time high when it comes to December.
Well, that's quite a rally in Tesla. Now, moving on to some corporate news. South Korean conglomerate Hyundai has announced a roughly $21 billion investment in US onshoring that includes a $5.8 billion steel plant in Louisiana. The plant is set to hire more than 1,400 employees and will produce next-generation steel that will be used by Hyundai's 2 US auto plants to manufacture electric vehicles. The investment was announced at the White House by Donald Trump, Hyundai chairman Yoo Chung and Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry. Remember, Hyundai's announcement comes as a major international conglomerates are racing to dodge tariffs and avoid a trade war ahead of the Trump April 2 deadline for tariffs.
All right, then moving on to the latest commentary then coming in from Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic. Now, he said that he anticipates slower progress when it comes to inflation in the next few months, and as a result now sees the Fed cutting its benchmark interest rate only 0.25 percentage point by the end of this year. In fact, he also warns of continued macro uncertainty, and that is something that could weigh on the central bank's decision making as tariff pressures continue to mount. So that is some key commentary coming in as far as Raphael Bostic is concerned.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.